PennState.com. I'm Nate Mink here with Ben Jones. Bit of a new location. Yesterday at the practice field, it was raining, so we weren't able to film the video after practice Wednesday. The team was in Holuba Hall working. Some good news, Ben. Penn State's full stable of running backs out there practicing. Bill Belton, Derek Day, Curtis Dukes, Mike Zordich. They're all out doing some kind of activity, so that's good. Bill Belton had both his ankles wrapped in a kind of heavy tape. Zordich wore a black knee brace on his left knee. At another position, left tackle Donovan Smith, he was out there moving around good. Linebacker Naeem Wortman, the freshman who blocked the punt in week 1 and who got a sprained knee in Virginia the next week. He is not going to play this week, but he was at least moving around without any kind of limp or knee brace, so I thought that was a positive sign for his health moving forward. Maybe he could be close to returning in the next few weeks. It's Illinois week, and we all know what that means. It's Tim Beckman. I mean, it's Beckman and the recruiting tactics from the summer, but that's really a sidebar. That's almost like a TMZ angle, I like to call it, for this weekend's game, because once the ball kicks off, I think we're going to get in, just the ebb and flow of a normal football game, and it's the Big Ten opener. Both teams 2-2 out of the non-conference. Illinois looked bad in two of their better opponents. Louisiana Tech blew them out, and Arizona State blew them out. Penn State obviously started out 0-2 before coming in with a lot of momentum. Do we have a sense on how this one's going to play out yet, or is it still too early to tell?
I think it's difficult to tell because you don't know what you're going to get from either of these teams. Illinois, like you said, got blown out by the good teams that they faced and took care of the lesser opponents. And Penn State, on the same note, is sort of finding their stride going into Big Ten play. I don't think the recruiting thing's going to play too much into it. You might see maybe a little chirping before the game, but that's not really, I don't think you'll see that from Penn State players. So, that could maybe have something to do with if Penn State runs up the score, if they have the opportunity to do it. But like you said, once the ball gets kicked off, I think it's just going to be a normal football game.
Matt McGloin, one of the leaders in the Big Ten, if not, he's playing at an incredibly accelerated rate from where he's been in the past. The offensive line, I think, is the unit on the hot spot this week. They're going up against their front four, led by defensive end Michael Buchanan and defensive tackle Akeem Spence for Illinois. That is probably going to be the strongest defensive line that Penn State faces up to this point of the season. Now, Bill O'Brien and Matt McWhorter have been rotating in a lot of linemen to kind of conserve energy and also just to get guys reps in case injury hits. So it's going to be interesting to see if they continue that rotation or if they want to try to get into a normal 5-man rotation. Whoever's playing well, I would think, is the guys they're going to stick with most. Donovan Smith, we mentioned a little bit earlier. Very interested to see how much work he gets. He worked out with the second team offensive line in just the brief 10-15 minute period of practice that we were able to see yesterday. Mike Farrell and Adam Gress were the two tackles with the first team unit, as has been per usual with Smith out the last couple of weeks. So that's one unit, I think. Being able to protect McGloin, giving him time to throw, not having him avoid the rush, and just trying to maintain that offensive rhythm that they've kind of gotten going in the last few weeks. Running back, like I mentioned earlier, they have a lot of those guys coming back. O'Brien has said they're going to use a committee by approach type system, so maybe up to 3 running backs at the most are what we're going to see. So, I would anticipate Belton being involved in that. The other guys, it's pretty much going to be competition. I mean, it was Winak who came on strong against Temple. Zordich obviously was really strong against Navy and Temple, and then he roughed up his knee a little bit. And then you have Dukes with the thigh and Day with the shoulder. So it's going to be interesting to see who they go with primarily from the running back position. Defensively, Penn State front 7 has been as good as advertised so far. Illinois employs kind of a 2-quarterback system, we think, is what we're going to see on Saturday. Nathan Shieldhouse is kind of their zone read guy, and Riley O'Toole is more of a traditional drop back passer, and one of the better passers I think this secondary is going to face since Tyler Tettleton in week 1 against Ohio, and I think everyone remembers how that turned out. Is this a chance for the secondary to kind of make a statement or at least showcase how far they've come since that first loss?
I would think so, because it displays the two offenses that they've already played. You have Ohio's drop back pass offense with O'Toole, and you have kind of not the same thing as the triple option that Navy ran, but they were letting their quarterback get out of the backfield and run with the ball, and you get that with Shieldhouse. So if they can put everything together, they have the parts to stop Illinois' offense. It's just a matter of executing.
Penn State, Illinois, noon kickoff Eastern time. ESPN will televise. If your TV is crazy and can do 3D, ESPN 3D is also broadcasting it. So who knows? We'll see. We will see you. Prediction.
Yeah. I think Penn State wins. I think they're the better team. Obviously, conference games on the road always can pose problems, even to the best teams in the conference every year. So you never know what you're going to get. But I think Penn State's a better team, and I think they're finding themselves at the right time of the year.
They certainly have momentum from the last 2 weeks. They've been exposed to a lot of different offenses, right? Through 4 games, they've seen a different offense each week. Here, they see an opponent that they're at least familiar with. They've shut down Illinois' zone read option in the past. I mean, they're familiar with the personnel a little bit more. So I think that helps out. And quite frankly, they're just playing really well right now. The offense, like Coach O'Brien said, left a lot of points on the board last week. You got to think if they can finish drives and just keep it rolling, that they should come out of there with a win. But like I said, that front four for Illinois has been good. Maybe has not been as good as maybe advertised so far, but it's certainly going to be a challenge. And the offensive line, as we've seen in the past, is really the determinant on how Penn State is. I mean, that's just how they go as their offensive line goes, at least in the past. So I think Penn State ekes out a close win on the road and continues rolling and goes into homecoming feeling good about themselves. But that's all down the road. For StateCollege.com, I'm Nate Mink. This is Ben Jones. We will see you next week. See ya.